Several times a year on my channel, I like to share with you guys my monthly budget just to kind of show you the progress that I have made in getting my family to live a more self-sufficient, frugal lifestyle. This month, I was able to get our budget down to just $850. That is how much money we need to live, survive, thrive. I'm going to share with you guys like a complete budget breakdown. But before I do that, I want to explain to you why we live this way and how we are able to live on such a low amount of money, even in today's economy. The first thing that really allows us to live on such a low budget is just our overall lifestyle. We are very low maintenance people. We do not require a lot of things to make us happy. When it comes to me, for example, I do not ever go to the hair salon. I have locks. It is a very easy to maintain hairstyle. I wear very little makeup. I do not buy into all of the different types of beauty products. I use Dr. Bronner's soap for everything to wash my face, my body, my hair. I don't use any sort of like anti-aging creams or lotion. Like, I just don't buy into that. Our culture and society has really taught women, especially, to not want to age, which is like just a natural part of life. I don't have a problem with aging. It's just something that's going to happen. I will age and be very grateful that I was able to be older every single year. I don't wear jewelry. I don't wear name brand clothing. I wear comfortable clothes. We prefer to do free activities as a family. We don't go on expensive vacations. We go hiking and camping. We just did a several week long road trip across the United States, and we slept in our rooftop tent and was able to travel the country very, very affordably. We can still do really fun things, but you can do those things at a really affordable cost. We don't go to expensive events. We try and find free events. We don't spend a lot of money on food because we don't go out to eat. We cook at home from scratch. We also cook foods that are really low cost, things like beans and lentils, rice, potatoes, and in-season produce. We're very aware of what the price of food is in what season and what costs less money, and we just base our meals around inexpensive but healthy ingredients. Before I explain our living situation, I want you to understand our commitment to being debt-free. So we decided years ago that we wanted to be completely debt-free, and that includes not having a mortgage. So we worked really hard to renovate our house, sell it, and use that money to invest in something else. We recently bought 7 acres of property in Virginia and are working on building our dream house, our dream tiny house, a small house. It's not going to be anything big, but the goal is to do it completely debt free and to, for the most part, build it ourselves to save cost and to learn skills. So in order to do that the way that we want to, we have decided to live in a camper on our property while we are building our home. That is not a living situation that society tells us is okay. It is something to be frowned upon or embarrassed about. But we know that for our goals, for being financially free, independent, and living the life that we want, that is what is best for us. Temporary sacrifice for long-term gain. Our monthly expenses are really low because we do not have any debt payments. We have no mortgage, we have no car loan, we have no credit card bills. We do not pay any interest to anybody. In addition to living in our camper while we're living on our property, we bought this land as raw land. So we are actually living completely off grid, meaning we have no running water or electricity temporarily while we initially have moved on to the property. All of those things are to come. We have a well scheduled to be dug on the property. We're working on getting a complete solar system set up, and we will have those things in time. It is something that people don't think they can do or is extremely uncomfortable or inconvenient, but it's really not. And it's been an amazing learning experience, and we have had a great time on our property. I have done a lot of videos discussing like how we're living without running water, how we're living without electricity. I will link a playlist so that you guys can go and watch those. While we're living off grid, we are so connected to nature. We are in touch with the cycle of the sun, the outside temperature, what is going on in nature, the animals around us, the plants. And we forget that we as humans are part of nature, and we are so disconnected and out of touch with our natural environment. We spend 90% of our time indoors. Most people do spend about 90% of their time indoors. They're not even spending very much time outside. We're stuck on screens and like social media and work and all of these things that are taking us away from who we really are. We often forget that we are nature. Nature is not something separate from us. So when we say that we have lost our connection to nature, we have really lost our connection to ourselves. But just our overall commitment to living debt free and being able to live an unconventional lifestyle has really allowed us to live on a very low budget and do things a little bit differently than other people. It is about intentional living where you are spending money on the things that you really want to spend money on and not what society tells you that you want to spend money on. We live in a culture that is very materialistic and tells you that you need to have all of these things in order to be happy, and that this is what a standard life should look like. And if you don't have those things, then you are less than, or you should be unhappy without those things. And being able to step back and live our own life away from what society tells us that we need and want has really allowed us to be able to think about what we really value and if spending money on certain things is really worth it to us. Because every time you spend money on something, you are trading your time for that item. One of my very favorite books is Walden by Henry David Thoreau. It was one of those books that I read that was kind of life-changing and really altered the path of my life for the better. And I want to read you a quote from that book. "The cost of a thing is the amount of what I will call life, which is required to be exchanged for it immediately or in the long run." For the vast majority of people, when they start making more money, they start spending more money. And that is why, even when you're making $100,000 a year or more, you still could be living paycheck to paycheck. 78% of Americans are currently living paycheck to paycheck, which means they are spending way more money than they should be spending because they are not able to put any money back in savings for an emergency fund. I've been living this way most of my adult life, and I have gone through periods where I have made very little money and periods where I have made a little bit more money, way more money than what I have budgeted. Even in the time periods when I have made more money, I still continue to live this lifestyle, and that is what has enabled me to live debt free and to have money in savings. And I really get that things are expensive right now and things are a struggle. I have struggled a lot in my life financially. That is the reason why I decided I never wanted to be in that situation again, and why I was going to live really frugally and figure out ways to cut my required monthly expenses so that I was never in a bad financial situation again. I was a young single mom and I was the sole provider for my kids. But at the same time, I also wanted to make sure that I was there for them and that I was not working all the time because that's what I started to do. And I realized that I really needed a complete mind shift and lifestyle change in order to live the life that I really wanted for myself and my family. So while things financially, economically suck right now, we really have to figure out a way to live on less money and make sure that we can take care of ourselves and our family financially and not be so stressed out and have a little bit more freedom to live the life that we want. And that starts at reducing your budget and trying to figure out and manipulate ways that you can save money. And for me, that meant cutting things out like streaming services, cable, internet, a mortgage. It meant not paying for daycare and ultimately not sending them to school and homeschooling them. And it also meant looking at all of my bills and trying to figure out ways that I could save money. For example, I don't have a monthly phone bill because I go ahead and pay for Mint Mobile for a year up front. So paying for that one fee up front, $180 a year, reduces my cell phone cost drastically. Not only do I not have a payment to worry about every month because I paid it up front, but it also in the long run saves me money because you get a huge discount when you just pay for a year up front, $180, which is what some people pay just a month for a phone bill. I'd like to challenge you to think about ways that you can reduce your monthly budget. You might not be able to get it down to $850, but what could you get rid of to decrease your monthly expenses? Things that you don't really need, that maybe it's not really valuable to you. It's not worth your time that you spend going to work to pay for that item when you would rather be spending it doing something that you enjoy, spending time with your family, or maybe working on an important project that you have been thinking about but you don't have the time for. And think about these changes not just in the short term, not just I'm going to save money by not eating out this month, but think about the long term too. Like maybe what would happen if you sold your house that was maybe a little bit bigger than you needed and you went and downsized and bought something smaller, that you not only saved on the purchase price of the house, the mortgage, but you're also saving in taxes, utilities, furnishings. A smaller house has a lot of added cost to it that is going to reduce your expenses just across the board. Our core values have really led us to live this lifestyle also. We really value time together as a family, time with our kids, and we didn't want to be away from our children working all the time. And the way around that is to decrease your budget as much as possible. Because I was really frugal and able to live a low cost life, I was able to homeschool all of my kids. My oldest has graduated, and I started homeschooling her when I was a young single mom, and public school just wasn't working out for us. And I will continue to homeschool my now toddler, and I have no intention of ever putting my kids into a school system. We have time together as a family to learn things together, to go on adventures together, to just live life together. If you have a family, then that should be the most important thing to you. Your partner, your children, that core group of people is what has been my main focus in my life and where I wanted to spend the vast majority of my time. Another core value that we have is just self-sufficiency, being financially self-sufficient, but then also being able to grow our own food, fix things for ourselves, build our own things. Like being self-sufficient and not having to rely on anyone else is really comforting to be able to do. It might be necessary in the future, and it is also a way to be frugal. Living that lifestyle is a frugal lifestyle. So you could either spend your time doing them, learning how to do them, or going to work and then paying somebody else to do it. We have just chosen to learn how to do those things ourselves for a multitude of reasons. Another core value we have has been animals. We are huge animal lovers, and I get a lot of flack about this, especially in the homesteading space that we are in right now, that animals are only useful to have around if they're benefiting you. And that is not something that we have as a value in our family. We love animals just for the innate purpose of being an animal and being alive and being a living creature. We love animals. We like surrounding ourselves with animals. So while we bought our 7 acres, we will continue to put unuseful animals on our property, rescue animals that don't necessarily provide us with a financial value, but they provide us with an emotional value. So because we are so frugal and have chosen how we want to spend our money, we can choose to spend our money on things that we really want to spend our money on, like rescuing animals and providing a good home to animals. That is the whole reason why you would be frugal, is so that you get to choose how you spend your money. If you live frugally and then never spend any money on things that are valuable to you, then you're missing out. Once you have your budget down low, once you are debt free, once you have money in savings, then you can spend your money on things that you really enjoy doing. You do not have to hoard all of your money forever and always. And that just comes down to freedom, having the freedom to spend your money the way you want to spend your time the way you want to, doing things that are of value to you, spending time with people that are valuable to you. It gives us the ability to be able to change our minds, change our location, and have experiences that are valuable to us. Some people think that because our monthly budget is only $850 that we are depriving ourselves, depriving our children of life, but that couldn't be further from the truth. We are frugal and we live on such little money because we don't want to deprive ourselves and we want to be able to live the life that we choose to live. So this is the Clever Fox budget planner. I've been using it for a couple years. I absolutely love this budget planner. It helps me meet all of my goals. This is my July budget. This is the calendar page. There are several different pages. I'll show you the other page too. This is my monthly goals for July, just to plant a fall garden, to lower our groceries. We have a garden now, and so like I want to lower our groceries from the produce that we are producing from the garden. Work on potty training our 1-year-old because I am ready to be done with diapers. It's warm outside, so we have been spending a lot of time outside trying to figure that out, and it's going pretty well. Some greenhouse planning, because we would like to build a greenhouse so that we can continue to grow stuff even when it's a little bit colder this year. And you can just write generally like all of your bills and stuff down on this calendar page. We don't really have very many bills, so I don't super utilize that page. This is our detailed monthly budget. So our housing expenses are zero right now because we do not have a mortgage. We have already paid our yearly property taxes when we bought the property. They are just about $400 a year, but that was included with the closing costs. So we won't have to pay that again until next year. And then we don't have like utilities or anything like that. We do have propane, but we only have to fill our propane up every few months. We're only using it for cooking and we just don't use that much propane. So we just don't have any housing expenses. We do not have internet. We use free Wi-Fi, and I explained about the cell phone. We paid a year up front. We actually paid that last month. So we don't have a monthly cell phone bill or any typical household bills. Our food budget is $340. I lowered it a bit this month to just $80 a week for my entire family. And we're going to be using some stuff out of the garden that we've been growing. And then I do want to spend $20 on seeds to plant like a fall garden. I have done a lot of previous videos on how we eat really cheaply, and I have a whole playlist. I haven't done any super recently because we're living in a camper and it's just really hard to film cooking videos in the camper. I do want to do some more though, and I will work on that. But for now, you can go check out some of my older videos. We eat very similarly. Next is health insurance cost. I have a $28 life insurance plan. We do not pay for health insurance. We go through healthcare.gov and are able to qualify for a $0 plan. There's a bunch of different plans that you can choose from. It's income based and just family size and all of that stuff. You can choose plans that are higher copays and such that will get you like a $0 monthly premium, which is what we did. Everybody's different. Go to healthcare.gov and see if you qualify for anything. Credit and loans, we have no credit card debt, no debt at all, so we don't have any credit payments. Our personal expenses this month are $150. That's $10 for laundry. I hand wash a bunch of stuff. We go to a very cheap laundromat twice a month and do, a couple loads of laundry every couple weeks, and that's it. We're just very frugal with our laundry. It is possible. Our animals is around $100. We're still working on that because we've added a bunch of new animals, but I think I can honestly get it under $100. I might do a video on how I'm able to feed all of our animals for $100. But that's what I think we can do this next month. Miscellaneous, $40. Diapers and any other soaps, toilet paper, stuff like that. We use a lot of reusable stuff, so we don't actually buy a lot of like toiletry type items other than diapers, which we're working on potty training. So entertainment, $0. We're not doing any type of paid entertainment this month. Plenty of free stuff, lots of stuff at the library. Our local library has a lot of stuff. We live next to a bajillion hiking trails, parks, events. It's summer, there's lots of local events, museums. So no entertainment. There's plenty of free things to do. Transportation. This is where I really saved a lot of money this month if you've been watching my other monthly budget videos. Car insurance is $136. We don't need any maintenance done this month. Gas, I dropped it because we're not driving as much. But then car insurance, that was cut in half because I have 2 teenagers and they are taking over half of the car insurance payment because they are driving and they have jobs. So we have 2 vehicles. They are going to be driving our Toyota Corolla and are responsible for the car insurance on that vehicle. So because that's their responsibility, it's not part of my budget anymore. And then that brings our total budgeted amount down to $854. At the end of the month, I can go through and fill out. This is my favorite part of the whole budget planner, this analysis sheet and like how things went. This budget planner also has in the back, it comes with cash envelopes. We don't really use cash envelopes because we don't really use cash. We don't spend that much money. It's not really useful to us. I know a lot of people like cash envelopes. Comes with all of these directions on how to use the budget planner and stickers, which, stickers are fun. It also has a monthly expense tracker where you can track every single dollar that you spend through the month. This is really helpful when you're getting started budgeting. I don't use this because I don't really spend that much money anymore. When we went on our cross-country road trip and kind of as we were transitioning into our new life, I was tracking our expenses a lot closer. And then on all of our like homestead stuff, like our bigger projects that we're doing, I do track our expenses there. Let me kind of show you last month so that you get an idea of like what this coloring thing looks like. So this is just where I spent the cost up front for a year of Mint Mobile phone service. So that was like $380 some odd of our budget just to go ahead and pay for a year up front for 2 phone lines. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not when I came to die discover that I had not lived. Henry David Thoreau, Walden. Look at it. What is that there?